Hello and welcome to the Under the Floodlight Podcast. This is our first episode. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Thrower. I'm also joined by...
Hello, I'm Harry Evans. I'm a uni student and I'm Ipswich Town fan.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm also an Ipswich Town fan.
Right, so we'll start off episode 1 with Ipswich Town, seeing as we're all from Ipswich and have some good knowledge on the club itself. I thought we'd get up to speed to where we are today. So we start with where Mick McCarthy left Ipswich as manager in April 2018, storming out a press conference following a 1-0 victory over Barnsley. The Irishman had been in charge for 6 years and even managed a playoff finish. So I'm going to open up to you guys. Where did it go wrong for McCarthy?
It didn't really start going wrong until about, 4 years into his managerial reign.
Yeah.
So, obviously, first 2 years sort of got us cemented into the championship, made us all feel safe that we weren't going down. I think, 2013, 2014 season got us to 9th, 3 points off the playoffs. And then playoff season, obviously, everyone was buzzing. And then it was just the 2 seasons after where it all went down. Football, I wouldn't say the football changed as much. It was still Mick McCarthy's football,
isn't it?
Personally, I thought it got better as time come along. Like, he got some better technical players and the football wasn't as bad as it used to be.
I think maybe what it was, because in the playoff season, no one could sort of we were the only team at the time who seemed to sort of play that dirty.
And it was working. I think that's...
And it was working. No one could really sort of find a way. But then the season after, everyone was like, well, there's no way they're going to do it 2 seasons in a row. We all know what their game plan is.
Well, we still finished 7th, though, didn't we?
I think the difference is that Ipswich's foundation was built off of a really strong defence, and then
physical.
It was then clinical from Murphy and McGoldrick up top. So Bearer had a phenomenal season in 13-14 and 14-15. I think it sort of went downhill after then, and you also had Smith coming in and out the side, and Chambers, was.
You also have to put in the factors of Smith with an injury the season after that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we were scoring goals. It's simple as that, really, isn't it? It's like, I think the 2 centre backs, Bearer and Chambers. Wasn't Chambers, was it? Smith.
Chambers playing right back. Right.
Goals came from there as well, which we're not seeing anymore. Hardly ever. Midfield, I think that was our weak point at the time, but still, we're obviously winning games.
When you're passing over the midfield.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, but then obviously a clinical finisher up front in Murphy.
Mm. So did you think he was treated harshly? Because I know, towards the end of the reign, it started getting a bit sour. I know you personally, Sam. I don't know too much Harry yourself, but I know you personally, Sam, was quite happy to see the back of McCarthy. What was your sort of thoughts? Do you think he was treated harshly, or?
Well, the thing is, everyone just thinks that we hated him in general. They all think that we didn't appreciate what he did his first 3 seasons in charge, and we did. But it's just after that, it was just at a standstill. No one really knew. No, there was no. I mean,
there was
probably
no direction.
Not much. Yeah, there's no direction. I mean, there's probably not a lot now. There probably is a little bit more, because obviously we've gone down a division and they've had to come out. We've had 2 new managers. They've had to come out and say stuff. But
I think it was definitely obviously the right time for a change in it. It's Marcus Evans came forward with his 5-step plan. McCarthy was just playing his horrible football, and obviously the fans want to see something new after 6 years. So it's kind of need something else in it.
The thing what got me.
Don't worry.
It was the fact that no one was saying anything. It just seemed like we just wanted answers. No one was saying anything.
So that was then. Do you then blame McCarthy for that, or is that then the fault of the board and Evans, who does get a lot of stacks?
Oh, definitely.
Well, I don't know.
I think.
Well, it depends. It's probably more of Evans, because as a manager, you always have in the back of the mind there's things you can't say and can say, or there's stuff you want to say but you can't.
Do you think McCarthy's the sort of person who wouldn't do that? I personally think he's the sort of person, if he wants to say something, he'll say it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so then that goes back to my point in no one was saying anything. So
yeah, so I guess you're right in that aspect, yeah. So
could also see like as a fan, you never know really what's going on behind the doors, do you? It's like I know we'll obviously get onto it, but one of the things Hurst said when he's left was like a lack of communication. So we don't know if it's like the same thing when McCarthy was in charge.
And I think the big difference is that you started to see McCarthy's football started producing less and less results as time went on. And I think people can tolerate really, let's say, less fashionable football, to put it a lighter way.
If it's getting results,
if it's getting results. And we saw that with Gary Rowett at Derby. We saw that with Tony Pulis football at times, and Sam Allardyce as well. You just see when there's results, it's going brilliant. People can put up with it. But I think it's then when you start losing the results and you scrap
things become sour, don't it? I think also it's like we're seeing this crap football, and then season ticket prices are going up, and we're also not going anywhere in terms of direction. It's like the fans at that time feel like they're fought about last.
Yeah,
and then, the fans are like the heart of a football club, and any football club. So they're not put first at all, and it kind of like it's that sour view of like looking at Marcus Evans. He's not saying anything. What are we supposed to think when prices are going up? The football's crap, and we're not really going anywhere. Like we finished playoffs and in 7th, and after that, like top half finishes, but what we're seeing is horrible.
Then that goes on to like that. Then spirals into that's happened, and then you've given it another couple of years, nothing's changed, and then the fans have nothing else but to go at the manager, go at the players, and then you'll find in McCarthy's last season it was like 8 hours of home football without a goal, 9 games without a win against Norwich. Obviously that was still an ongoing thing, but that obviously still played a part. 7 losses in 10 during autumn. This is in his last season, by the way, including another defeat to Norwich. Then you got to be like boring football still there. Dig at the fans started to happen. We saw that in the Derby game where
I was going to bring back
we went 1-0 up, and then people just ran out of patience. 15 years in the Championship at that point.
I mean, I was going to bring up the Norwich game because you mentioned it. Obviously, there's that last-minute goal from Chambers before they went down the other end and equalised. But obviously, he was giving a lot of stick to the Ipswich fans there, McCarthy, and that doesn't look good.
After that game, I always wanted to know if we would have won that game, what would have happened.
What he would have said
to that situation. Mick McCarthy bore off with that comment or gesture. I wonder if we would have won, what would people be saying? Oh, it's passion. Because I think at the time, the 4 minutes it was between us scoring and them scoring, what was it? Everyone was like saying, yeah, finally a bit of passion, and then bang, it's just another dig at the fans.
And I think
the space of 5 minutes.
It's how it gets twisted as well, because I think it's fine, and then as soon as the narrative changes, it gets twisted into him then swearing at the fans, and I think
I mean, it was definitely at the fans. You can't deny it.
Oh, 100%.
Only Mick McCarthy knows himself what emotion he was going through at that point. He could have been.
Yeah, that's true.
Generally, come on, I still care.
Yeah, as in he
I'm
might
not doing
have
the
felt
job for the sake of it. I am generally trying to get you a win in the derby. But
he might have felt like his work was underappreciated, and then he's backlashed at the fans. That's sort of what I've been is.
That's the thing is like there was that constant backlash between McCarthy and fans, wasn't it? There was no. That's the thing that also annoyed me with McCarthy is that obviously you give it back. You want that kind of bluntness from a manager, like saying what it is. Yeah. But at the same time, you'd never take anything on the chin and accept responsibility for that turgid home form, or be like just accepting something like the fans' point of view. And then I think that also got on the fans, didn't like that.
In the search of a new style of play, Marcus Evans then hired Paul Hurst from Shrewsbury. Hurst had worked his way up the managerial ladder and transformed a struggling Shrewsbury into a side that slimly missed out on promotion in the Championship, losing 2-1 after extra time to Rotherham in what would be Hurst's final game in charge. He then swapped one town for another in the hope of success in the second tier, becoming the Blues boss on the 30th of May 2018. Hurst made a total of 12 signings in the summer in order to transition the style. It wasn't to be, as a string of poor results and the sales of key players cost Hurst his job after a 2-0 defeat to Leeds, which ended his 5 months managerial spell, the shortest in Ipswich's managerial history. So I'll open it up to you guys again. What was your thoughts on what went wrong for Paul Hurst?
Paul Hurst, I think that he came in with his assistant Chris Doig, which is a whole nother point. But he came in and kind of, we all wanted his new style of football, like that high urgency and press. But he came in, if I remember correctly, he kind of slagged off that kind of how it already was at the club, despite how our finishes prior to this season. But then, so already, as soon as he's come in, we've seen that kind of arrogance from him. And then, obviously, I would accept that if he then brought his own way of football in. But then we saw after the defeat to Rotherham away, dominating the ball and all that, but there's no clear-cut opportunities in scoring in that game. We've lost. And then after that, we brought Jonathan Walters in. It seems like he's thrown his whole plan out of the window. And then what are we doing from there? Like, you're just denying your whole type of football.
Yeah, that's understandable. Because obviously, as you say, Walters was against his sort of style of play. He wanted someone like a Jackson who was a bit more fast off the shoulder.
Yeah.
And he brought in Walters, and it did feel like he's thrown away what he wanted to get results. And sometimes you need a bit of compromise, but it felt like he's just done a complete U-turn from what he said and has just gone against the grain, which is not very good and not very confident from a manager who's just taken his first step into the job, is it?
No, not at all. I think that, as you say, that whole U-turn, it was just a sudden, this is not a new era now. What's going on? It's like, you need to show some confidence and, if anything, trust in your own ability to play your way of football and grind results.
To be honest, when we announced Hurst, what was it, May last year, I didn't fill me with confidence. I don't know why.
I think one of the points is that we wanted this new attractive style of football, which is one of Marcus Evans's points of the 5-step plan, is attractive football. But he is known for a similar type of football to McCarthy in that kind of sense.
Just get the job done, sort of thing.
Yeah. Which is what we would want.
Ball on the ground.
No, but it's what we'd want if he did the job. But it's obviously we know now he's nothing like that.
I think Town fans, the majority of them, they were so happy to see the back of McCarthy that they didn't care who the next manager was going to be. They didn't look at the negatives when Hurst come in. There was obviously some sceptical fans, he's inexperienced. Yeah, he got to League One.
But you see loads of managers come in with that inexperience, especially from foreign countries.
Yeah, but then it was at the same time, it was okay, he did get Walters in on loan, but at the same time, it was hang on a minute, he hasn't got any connections with anyone apart from his players from League One, Shrewsbury Town, younger League Two players, League One, League Two players who he sees might have potential. I mean, they're still growing.
Yeah.
But I think...
Well, no, that's not also true as well. We brought in donation for 750k, couldn't get his loan permit or work permit, so he had to join a loan. Back. But he's 25, and he's cost us $750,000, and then not breaking into the first team. It's we know we have to spend shrewdly, McCarthy did
as well. Was Hurst a confident enough manager to manage what he had at the time when he joined? Because obviously he's just bringing 12 signings. He's that's right, I'm comfortable with these guys. I've worked around similar players to them. I'll bring in Toto and Ciala, I'll bring in Nolan. Forgetting that he's in the Championship, he's going to level up. And he's
he must have thought that they can make a step up.
McGoldrick. I'll keep Sears because I know he's got potential in League One. He done well with Colchester. I'll get rid of McGoldrick and Waghorn because, I don't know if I can handle them sort of players.
I think it's kind of I was not happy to see players like Waghorn go, but then obviously in his last season having the top in the Championship for goals and assists combination. But if he wanted to leave, I think any player should be allowed to leave if they want to, this kind of thing. But then it's just the replacement. It's the replacement. Oh yeah, but it's also the replacement. Is that I think that's a current theme at Town. It's selling players on, but without replacement. And then obviously the players we got in, at the time I was like, oh yeah, these are young players that are doing well in the lower leagues. Can they make the step up? If they can, obviously that's wonderful. But then obviously not. And then that's obviously one of the reasons of the downfall.
I think personally he made too many changes in too short a period. I think he tried to overhaul a squad of players that couldn't play on the floor to bring in players that could play on the floor, but he didn't have any players that were experienced at the level on playing on the floor. So he's bringing in players from League One and League Two to play football on the ground against sides that will press you hard and be physical in a championship game. If he was doing that in League One, maybe that works for you because you've got players who know the league, who are up to speed with the championship's a different animal. And if you're changing it, you have to change it slowly.
You think, like, just say Mick McCarthy stayed and he made that many changes, kept Scoots, kept Chambers, would you then look at it and be like, would we have done
Mick
better?
McCarthy wouldn't make those type of changes.
No, but I'm just saying, like, as in, if he kept Scoots and Chambers and to lead the new guys, what Hurst bring in, would Mick McCarthy would he have been better at getting them to play his kind of
so like if
with
you
the
had
experience
those
of Chambers and Scoots, because Scoots and Chambers looked, in my opinion, lost last season. Like they just looked. They were just like, what's happening here? Like,
I think you also have to question the quality of the signings. It's like, no, despite any manager, could the players actually play in this level of football? And I don't think so.
And I mean, obviously that weren't the case by the time it came round to it, but it's just they played the style of play that Hurst wanted, but not to a high enough standard to meet the championship.
Yeah.
And
I don't think they did. I don't think they ever played to Hurst's standard, apart from the pre-season friendly game against West Ham. It's the only time
with the three youngsters in the middle. But that
only time where I thought this is good football. But then that's a pre-season friendly. Both teams just playing for fitness, playing or nothing really. And then as soon as Blackburn, I remember the first game of last season.
Yeah, we went to that, didn't we?
I was like, yeah, we went 1-0 up through Gwyn Edwards. But I was like, we're not playing the way we've been promised. And there was boos by like what? I think it must have been when Blackburn went and equalised and they went 2-1 up.
Because they're a new at the time they're a newly promoted team as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
And there was boos around the ground, not massively, but there was boo sections, and I'm like, it's not even 90 minutes into the season, and it felt like nothing had changed. Obviously, there's still optimism, but
and I think the last minute equaliser sort of summed up a lot of Hurst's football as well. That it was just lucky. There was nothing behind it. It was just
anything. It was luck.
Yeah. So
I think that's all part of the point of it. Like his whole style of football and plan just coming out of the window. And then things like luck is where we got some of those points, and maybe that one win at Swansea when we went 2-2.
This goes back to I guess Mick McCarthy and that no one's saying anything. You go and watch Paul Hurst's post-match interviews, and he just like dull as fuck. Like it was just dull. Like
he was. I remember what is it, the pre-match conferences, and it'd be like he doesn't fuel you with like any enthusiasm or optimism for your game coming up, does he?
No.
I think as a manager you would have to find the right balance.
Yeah.
And then Hurst didn't do that at all. So I think as one thing that you'd have to do as manager is find that balance between experienced players that can drag you through the game, teach your young players how to get through a game and grind results, as well as the young players with a bit of flair that want to strive on and be successful.
Yeah. So quite frankly, do you think that the experienced players at Ipswich, so we're talking Scouse, Chambers, Bilkowski, do you think that they weren't quite up to the task then, or did you think they just had to be more?
Well, we're talking only three experienced players out of a squad of what, 20 something.
Yeah. 22
players.
Still had and a couple of the youth.
Yeah, but then obviously you can question the quality of Chambers. He made countless mistakes through this season, so that's obviously he has the passion of his captain. But he's being asked to play
a style of football that he's never played before. I've seen Chambers make many mistakes, and a lot of them were like back passes and stuff like that.
We all knew Chambers was going to get exposed this season when whole new style of player was going to come in. His best buddies with Mick had gone. We all knew he was going to get exposed. We all know he's not the greatest defender.
And in such a pivotal spine of the team as well. Did you then think it might have been better if he played right back again then? He's sort of out of the way, but he can still get down the wing.
I can't remember when he played right back a few seasons ago. I'm pretty certain.
He was a bit younger then as well, though.
I'm pretty certain. No, not this. He was at
during the playoff season where he was at right back.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain he was all right, but I remember the season after. People just ran rings around him.
He's not your typical right back at the same time,
No.
though, so I wouldn't play him there, just because he's not actually a right back.
Would it be 5 at the back where you could have?
I mean, 5 at the back's a possibility. Yeah.
I think
depends
it was
how
like
good wing backs are. Are there wing backs in that Ipswich setup that you could get in there? Do you reckon Kenlock could be good enough on that left wing back role? I mean, you played 5 at the back under Mick.
he
Mick
McCarthy did. Oh, didn't he? I swear at one point he had like.
I saw he had
Maitland
Knudsen at left centre back. If I'm not wrong, he had Knudsen at left centre back.
That was during the injuries.
Chambers, yeah.
Iorfa, there you go. That was the other one, wasn't it?
Iorfa.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, there was talks of a split dressing room, and then Paul Hurst, on the face of things, was like a blunt, like maybe arrogant manager. But then we never really saw too much of assistant Chris Doig, who was like behind him on the touchlines, obviously. I think, obviously, Chambers is such a big face at the club now. There may have been a clash of personalities, or just, I think maybe even like rudeness or ignorance from Chris Doig coming into the club, that you've got to sometimes accept the things way are and make your own changes step by step. And also obviously something that Chris Doig and Paul Hurst didn't do at all. So maybe a clash of personalities, poor results, a split dressing room, a poor atmosphere isn't going to help anything really, unless you make your own changes to try and help it. But then when there's arguments in the dressing room, we don't really know as a fans what was going on. But then we heard things about swearing going on in the dressing room, Chambers having to defend his team from comments from Doig, telling them how rubbish they are. It's like it's not what you want to hear as a fan.
Because you think, we don't know this, but you think if Doig and Hurst come in at the start of last season, start going around being like, right, you're playing the football you're playing at the moment is absolute rubbish. You think Chambers, back of his mind, he's like, hang on a minute, I've been here for God knows how long, and you're telling me everything I've done here, it's been absolutely crap, basically.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like, it's obviously not, because with 4 out of 5 top half finishes, and then they've come in, wiped the plan out the window. Like, what are you doing type of thing?
We never know. We never saw or heard what Doig and that said. Like, we never had a fly on the wall situation where like we didn't get anything because it's.
But that's the thing as well. It's like we can only assume. But then if we take his press conferences out, what can we really expect was going on? He's not going to be really unenthusiastic on the conference and then be some amazing, passionate manager on the inside. What's the point in that? From a fan's point of view, a split dressing room, all it does is going to harm your results on the pitch, no matter what type of football you're playing. So obviously it's not something any club needs, but it's like comments from a new assistant manager, not even the actual manager, but it's just like, I don't think it's obviously not right at all.
Yeah.
Like, and then would obviously have to see the back of them from that, because I don't think they were ever going to change. I don't know off the top of my head, but an example where the dressing room is falling apart, but they're still playing well on the pitch. But I don't know. I think
Bury last season. Bury would like that. They were in, I believe it was Bury. Real financial ruin. Weren't getting paid. Nothing. But they got promoted.
Promotion, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Paul Lambert was next in line for the Blues job. He was appointed on the 27th of October 2018 and made history and become the first ever manager to manage both Norwich and Ipswich. Lambert made 7 signings, some with key championship experience for the side bottom of the league. However, their fate was sealed on the 13th of April 2019, and Ipswich's 17-year stay in England's second tier had come to an end. So I'll open it to you guys again. What went wrong for Lambert?
I think it's just seemed, since October, all he seemed to have done is just try and, if you haven't got anything going for you on the pitch, at least try and build the club together so that you have some sort of like core.
He's done that superbly.
Yeah,
he done it well at times last season. I saw sometimes after some games, sections.
There was hints of him saying he was going to leave.
Well, yeah, there was that as well. I listened to that, and there was also some fans saying, "How is this any better than Hurst? His record's not that much better." He's made some signings, and not much has changed. The only thing that's changed is he's tried to unite the fans, and I think that is key because we saw that was the downfall of Mick McCarthy. But was it key at the time for getting Ipswich out of the mess they were in?
No, I think maybe he looked at that team and thought, I can't do anything with this. I can't.
Obviously, you can't say that. But...
No, he can't. Like I say, managers want to say stuff they can't say them, but I think he's tried to be as professional
very
as
much
he can.
Please the fans, yeah.
He's had to, but then it's goes back. How long is he going to last before it gets like McCarthy, where he's probably going to want to say stuff, and he can't. And it's like, he said to us he's not got a budget. More openly about it. But then can you say, is it motivational? Is it false hope? I still don't know. It's like the other day he's been saying, why do people expect us to finish top 6? And then you see another article a few hours later saying
Jack Lancaster.
Yeah. Oh, the boss has made it very clear we want to win the division. So is it mind games between...
He wants to temper expectations, I think. And I think the fans can play a lot on that, especially for some of the players. So if we look at some of the younger players, for example...
You're not going to have a manager who's going to come out and be like, we're going to win the league. Like, you're never going to get a manager like that.
Yeah. But I think some fans are thinking that, which is why he's just saying, look, just have a little bit of calm about ourselves, go into the season, see how it goes, sort of thing, because he doesn't know what he's going to get out of this side. I don't think he knows what he's going to get out of this side.
I mean, I think not knowing what he's going to get, I think that's duly just because one of his only options is bringing in the youngsters. It's like, can they step up to the mark in getting results in League One? Because that's, apart from the few experienced players, that is the majority of our team now.
Yeah, and I think you've seen the likes of like Flynn Downs, Nydam go out on loan. I think Downs had a spell at Luton when they were in League 2. And you sort of see him playing a few games there, but have they got enough to produce quality performances over a long period of time in League One, which is a step above as well? So,
especially a player like Flynn Downs, I think, given last season, he's definitely one of the players that we're going to rely on in midfield as a starting 11 most weeks. And then hoping players like Lancaster and that can...
And when you factor in, there's so many like cup competitions as well you've got to compete in. There's going to be rotation.
I feel like with us at the moment, it's like we're relying a lot on youth this season. It just feels like we see with other clubs, you get like one youngster break through every season, like, I don't know, Sesson Young or someone, Rashford, 2 seasons ago or whatever it was. And you think, so all the focus is on Rashford, but the rest of the team are experienced, or they know what they're doing. They're just letting Rashford. He's got a nice little base to play around and help him in. With us, they've all got to work together.
Yeah, they are the base.
And say for example, Lancaster has a fantastic season this season. It won't matter unless everyone else does, because they've all got to have a fantastic season. So the light's not going to be shining on just one of them. It's got to be on all 12 youngsters that were playing the other day in a friendly. There's probably going to be at least 8 of them in and around the action.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think that goes back to Lambert coming out and saying how what's the expectations of getting top 6 or promotion, whatever, because he's got his base of young players. Because I think with any young player that's come through, you can't put that expectation on them to perform, because you don't know how many years it's going to take for them to grow into their mould as a player.
Definitely, and I think we can almost relate it to Hurst's spell to a degree, because we saw him make quick changes and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it's a rapid rotation there.
So is there the same threat for Ipswich now with having to make quick changes with loads of youngsters for a side that might be unsettled? Is there danger of that?
The only thing is difference is that the youngsters have come up through the academy playing, because I know how the academy resemble how the first team play.
Yeah.
They've come up through that type of football, so hopefully it would be slightly better, considering they're playing the type of football that Lambert will want.
Mm.
And the academy's not a bad academy anyway; it's quite a good one.
It's relatively good, isn't it? I mean, you got players like Gazelle who are making a few, injury permitting, making a few starts in the season. You'd think that he'd be a good asset in League One.
Also, a player like Hughes, we didn't see him at all last season. I don't think he would have made a massive difference in getting relegated, but a player in League One, having him back will be a major improvement, I'd hope.
Well, I like to think as well. I go on saying about, it's all just youth. It's not just youth, because obviously we have got Bart as of yet. We have got Sears when he comes back. We've got Judge, Norwood.
Norwood, yeah.
Scoos. You've got players there who are like, okay, they're not the most experienced League One players as well, but they're going to be the ones where the youth still needs someone to look up to. So at least you've got that still. I mean, yeah, Norwood's been playing League Two, but they can still.
He's never played in League One.
Norwood.
I think the difference with
Norwood just comes along as a leader. He's going to boss the players about, not in the way where I'm going to bloody.
But that's what you want on the pitch, though. Someone to literally taking control of the situation.
Mm. Yeah. And I think the difference with Norwood is that his football doesn't come from ability; it comes from football intelligence, and that can transfer across leagues. If you're intelligent in planning runs, playing on the shoulder, that transfers into leagues. That doesn't just stay in league. It's not a physical thing where you have to suddenly get stronger to play in the league above. It's football intelligence, and that will carry over into the league. And I think he can be a real nuisance. He just has to have the balls into him, the final pass, the players around him that can actually give him the service. And I don't think Lambert plays particularly attractive football. He just plays somewhere in the middle between the two. He can mix it about. So I think he would have been the perfect changeover manager. So let's say, for example, you bring him in, you say, right, we want to start thinking about playing, some attractive football. He then starts creeping him to the middle, playing some, mixing it about, and then you bring in another manager who can then complete. Because for me, like I said, Hurst just
or you keep him as an assistant, like he was at Villa.
He wouldn't have taken the number 2 job though, would he?
Obviously, we wouldn't want to see him at the time, but he was the right manager for League One. And he has experience in League One, obviously under Norwich, was Colchester. So I think he was the right manager that we're obviously thinking from now and at the time of not every manager is going to take that job. And so thinking of a manager, because I think at the time you'd have to think of a manager that can not keep us up, but can also get us out of League One. Yeah, and I think
there's sustaining and then there's building, isn't there?
It was the future. I think it was a future signing. It was like, hang on a minute, Evans was like, I'm not gonna go to 2 short-term managers in the space of a season. I need, Ipswich have got a record for, what was it? Have we got? I don't know if it's the least amount of managers in our.
It must be.
I can't.
Well, Evans had that 5-step plan, which was making the attractive football, bringing in the youth under a shrewd budget.
Yeah.
But obviously that plan failed in a sense when he brought Hurst in.
We get a good attendance for our home games. I mean, I think it's 12.5k season tickets.
Yeah, something like that.
The odds
for the upcoming season.
Maybe extra 3k average fans you get just going weekly anyway. You think if we've got one of the highest attendances in the league, I know attendances don't win game, but that's already one up we've got on other teams in the league.
Well, it's the old cliche of the 12th man in it. It's not gonna, unless we start losing games, it's not, that 12th man vibe is not going to harm your team.
No, I mean, but it might add a bit of hang on a minute, if teams hear that you're now going to playing away at the team with the biggest fan base in the league, and they're probably not going to get told that in the dressing room, but they're going to hear it and they're going to be like, oh, hang on a minute. Maybe we don't know, maybe teams might come away to Portman Road and be like, hang on a minute, we're playing against Ipswich Town. Maybe that might play a factor, but we just don't know.
It's going to be one of those teams, isn't it, that teams want to beat. It's not just another team that you'd play season after season. Definitely, if we were still in the Championship last season, I would definitely want to take Norwood over Jackson. Because I don't think Jackson's record in League 2 was too great anyway. It's just that he was a young, pacey player that was exciting.
So, predictions for the next season for Ipswich Town. Guys, what do you think?
I think I tweeted this the other day. I think my head says 15th mid-table. My heart says top 6. I don't know. I mean, I normally, most of the time at the start of the season, say don't know. Can't really tell, but I really don't know because it's a new league.
I don't think it'll be 15th in terms of that aspect, but the only thing I'm going off is how we played last season against teams like Leeds on the last day. Can we mirror that with new signings? Like that start, like how we're playing well with the fans on the back. Can we get that kind of vibe going and playing well and get a good position? So I'd love to say top 6.
We just didn't have that killer instinct last season.
But then surely, given a pre-season, because Lambert's had a pre-season, obviously. Given that, I'm hoping that he can get us a top 6.
But where are you thinking that you're going to get?
In terms of how I actually think, I want top half. But I don't think it's hard to see us if we don't finish it inside the playoffs, not becoming just a Bob standard League One team in the future.
The motivation goes after the first season, surely.
Yeah. Say we finish outside the playoffs. If we don't, at a minimum, improve on that, then what? We just get stuck in this league, how we've been stuck in the Championship.
There needs to be a plan in place for that then, doesn't there?
Yeah.
And I guess I'll round it off with my general thoughts, I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not an Ipswich Town fan, but...
Yeah, it's good to get a view from an outside perspective.
I like to think I have a general knowledge about Ipswich. So I personally think it'll be a top half finish. I think it might push playoffs. The problem is you're in the cup around earlier. You've got the Checker Trade Trophy now to deal with, as well as, like I said, the cup around earlier. And then you've also got the pitches in League One, which can all tire. It can tire teams.
Yeah.
So I think unless there's some quality rotation, I think Ipswich might push, but it'll be all huff and puff, and I think it'll be a top half finish. So thanks to anyone for listening. We should hopefully be back doing another couple, because I know I've quite enjoyed this. I hope the other guys have enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
So hopefully we'll do another couple. Might do other clubs, might do other just general topics, as you know, we've rambled quite a bit, an occasional bit. So so thank you very much for listening, and see you later.
Bye.